There are still plenty of really well-known and regarded RPG series that I've never played. It's not always easy to get into a lot of long-running series, and usually it just takes the right game at the right time. For Star Ocean, it seems clear to me that the right game is going to be Second Story R, and the right time will be this November. I don't think I'm the only one, because this upcoming release is attracting the attention of newbies like me, and I'm also seeing excitement from those who have played and loved the Star Ocean series previously. Star Ocean Second Story R is an action RPG developed by Drops and published by Square Enix. It is a remake of the second Star Ocean game, titled Star Ocean Second Story, but we do have one of those special occasions where this remake comes after a previous remaster. While the original game came out for the PlayStation in 1998, developed by Tri-Ace, there was another release called Star Ocean Second Evolution that released for the PSP in 2008, developed by Drops, that also got ported to pretty much every other PlayStation console after that, although exclusive to Japan. Second Story R, though, is a full-blown remake with a huge visual upgrade, rearranged music, full voice acting, and a revamped combat system. One quick thing that I have enjoyed seeing in the remake, though, that is always nice to see, is that you can swap between original and rearranged music, as well as seeing previous character art. The remake will be coming November 2nd, 2023 for PS4, PS5, Switch, and PC, and I can say I'm very excited to give the game a try. For those who want to give the game a try first to see how you feel, though, you have a great opportunity with the 3-hour timed demo available for all platforms. I highly recommend it, since you can also carry over the save once the game releases. In Star Ocean Second Story R, you pick between two characters as your main protagonists, the Space Federation officer Claude and the young provincial girl Reyna. Side note, RPGs do love to have their protagonist named Claude, don't they? Seems this game may be where they got it from. On his first mission as part of the Federation, Claude encounters a mysterious energy field that, when he approaches it, transports him to an entirely different planet. Once there, he saves Reyna from a monster using his weapons, which Reyna thinks is the Sword of Light, the weapon of the Hero of Light, who will save their world. Claude, though, is very much focused on getting back home, but teams up with Reyna to investigate some of the strange happenings in the world in hopes that one of them will help him make his way back. Even early on in the demo, you can see that there is a difference between the characters' perspectives depending on who you choose as the main protagonist. I don't know how this will work long term in the game, but early on there were different scenes and insights into character thoughts, entirely different dungeon sections and plot points that come up while Claude and Reyna are separated, and the like. I think this game is one that, like Scarlet Nexus, gives actual reasons to replay the game from the other main character's point of view, and I really like that inclusion. When it comes to setting, I've always known that the Star Ocean series blends sci-fi and fantasy settings into one, and I really like how that starts here, and that we can get the perspective from a character growing up in either one. Claude and Reyna already have me intrigued in how they will work with each other and overcome issues the other one has never encountered. I see a lot of potential in this story, this world, and these characters, and even beyond that, we have plenty of flexibility on who we recruit and how the endings will go. According to one source, the game has 86 possible endings, which is an insane amount, although I'm not sure how they're counting that. I could see myself sinking a lot of hours into this game, so hopefully that gameplay holds up. The party has a maximum of 8 character slots to fill, meaning apart from Claude and Reyna, you have 6 more characters you can recruit out of 10 possibilities. Then, in certain areas, you can go off with your main character and do what is called private actions to build relationships and complete specific individual quests. These actions play likely the biggest role in which ending you get. I'm definitely interested to see how this mechanic and system works in the main game. I like the idea in theory, and I hope it would feel natural in the flow of the game. I'm also curious if there are quests that you complete with the full party and not in the private action mode. Also, you're never going to hear me complaining about more time spent getting to know characters. While exploring around in the main map or in the dungeons, you'll see silhouettes of enemies on the field that you can take on or avoid depending on your preference. Unfortunately, we can't see exactly which enemies are which from the field, but just being able to see them and not doing random encounters is always a plus. Once in battle, your team of up to 4 characters is facing off against a series of enemies. The battle system honestly reminds me of the linear motion battle system of the Tales series, with more action and flexibility of movement. As you are going up whacking enemies, you want to be conscious of the newly added shield meter, which when depleted, puts the enemy in a vulnerable break state where every attack is a critical hit. One of the critical ways you'll put your opponents on their heels is with the just counter system, where you can take a quick step back, avoiding an attack and then swing behind them to do extra damage. All these hits you're scoring also adds to the bonus gauge, which gives your party boosts as you get it higher, but you lose it all if your guard is broken. That's the part that I really struggled with in the demo. I kept getting broken and losing my bonuses. I'm sure I'll get it with more time in the battle system though. The last point they highlighted in the gameplay trailer were the out-of-battlefield party members getting to help with follow-up attacks later in the game. While I did find the demo combat fun, there's a lot for me to learn about the proper time to cast certain spells and how to not have Claude die so much when I'm controlling Reyna. I'm hoping the system feels more fluid once I have the full party and all of the mechanics at play. Still, lots of potential with this action system. Star Ocean Second Story R in some ways intimidates me with all the detailed systems it appears to have, although I'm sure I can figure it out given time and experience. One of those areas is with progression outside of battle. Second Story features item creation as a major part of upping your equipment's effects and improving beyond just buying all new stuff. In order to upgrade though, you'll need certain specialties, and that plays into the point system. You have battle points and skill points. Unsurprisingly, battle points will be used to upgrade your battle abilities, arts, and the like. Skill points are more for specialized categories that lead into item creation and other things like improving the amount you can sell items for. And there are a lot of different skills you could upgrade, so that adds on to the specialness of each of the characters as you improve their different skill and battle areas. Like the recent East games and Xenoblade, Star Ocean also has a landmark system called unique spots that you can look for as you explore around. These unique spots reward you with experience and items. I do always love when games give incentives like this to explore around properly. I'm definitely looking forward to exploring around the world for those spots, and also for the generally great looking landscapes. The party also talks as you're running around in the world, which is nice, but hopefully nothing crucial happens in those discussions while I'm trying to avoid enemies or find a particular spot. They seem very easy to miss. A piece of the side content to keep an eye out for when exploring around as well is fishing. The system itself doesn't seem too deep from what I've seen, but you get items and possible unique enemy encounters from engaging with it for those interested. They also allude to more mini-games, but we haven't seen exactly what those are yet, and I'm trying not to spoil myself. Now for the presentation, at least what we can figure out so far. The game utilizes a 2.5D style that is reminiscent of the HD 2D system, but definitely has its own flavor. I was initially a little put off on the sprites versus the very detailed backgrounds. It felt like putting some random video game characters on a painting, but I got used to it and it's still perfectly nice to look at. The voice acting has been re-recorded with the original cast, which is exactly what you hope to see, and I'm glad everyone was able to come back for this remake. It's kind of insane that they let you pick voices on a character-by-character basis though, but good on them. They sound great so far, and hopefully that keeps up throughout the game. As for the soundtrack, I am already bopping along to it and having a great time listening, which is a good indication of quality work. For those who really enjoyed the original soundtrack though, you are given the option to choose between the original and arranged tracks, which is the perfect system when possible. The remake's big UI and UX updates appear to be a more easily readable map, which as a new player I can't comment on, and fast travel, which certainly is very welcome. Again, based on my impressions of the demo, the UI is legible, not too intrusive, and the UX is smooth. I'm curious how it is across different platforms though, as the Switch version worked pretty well, and PC, which is where I will be getting the game, seems to be as well. Lastly, the options given of characters' profile art, music, and voices are great. Always nice to see when remakes respect the original game/games in this case. I think Star Ocean Second Story R is going to be a perfect introduction for me and other new players into the series. The original game seems to be very well regarded by the fandom, and the updates on the visuals and combat while respecting and calling back to the original shows a love for the game from all involved. I'm certainly excited to give this game a try soon, and I expect many of you are as well. Let me know what your thoughts on Star Ocean Second Story R are. Have you tried out the demo yet? Tell me in the comments, and give this video a like and subscribe if you have not yet done that. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and happy gaming.